Well, Information Nation, here we are once again. It is your girl, Lady on the Go, Lady in the Know, Miss Info. You've reached the Information Nation, where knowledge is shared and wisdom exchanged for the betterment of a people. Well, I'm on my iPhone, but guess what? It is what it is. I'm going to use the Canva platform and try to upload it. I'm just going to have different music, some different backgrounds. I'm getting there. But let me tell you what I want to talk to you about today. All right. How many of you have heard about the IQ test? Yeah, that's right. The Intelligent Quotient Test. Recently, I was watching a documentary and it focused on the IQ test and how it related to the presidents. Did you know that our presidents have to take an intelligence test? Yeah, I'm going somewhere with this. Anyway, this intelligence test is supposed to identify whether you are smart or dumb. Okay? They do this by observing your behavior in daily life. This was also used to determine who was fit to become mothers and fathers and who were not. You see my report on eugenics. They used an intelligent quotient test to determine whether or not you were considered a moron. Anyway, somewhere around 1822, an English statistician named Francis Galton attempted to create a standardized test to measure a person's intelligence. He believed there should be a correlation between intelligence and other observable traits such as reflexes, muscle grip, and head size. Really? After about a year gathering data on a variety of physical variables, he couldn't show any such connectors and abandoned his research. He needed his head examined. Next, two Frenchmen, one a psychiatrist and the other one was a psychologist and the other was a psychiatrist. They had a little more success in 1905. They published what was called the Binet-Simon Intelligence Test that focused on verbal abilities. It was intended to identify mental retardation in school children. But they only proved their subjects were sick, not slow. And that test was best used in asylums, mental institutions, and not in schools. The actual term IQ was coined by a psychologist named William Stern for the German term intelligence quotient, and that's intelligence spelled INTELLIGENZQUOTIENT. This was a method that he used for scoring tests for intelligence at the University of Breslau. During World War I, the U.S. Army needed a way to evaluate and assign recruits to the appropriate tasks. Their mental tests generated much debate and controversy. Due to the disparity in the testing basis, questions tested for familiarity with American culture rather than intelligence. About 1.75 million men were tested. It was the first mass-produced written test of intelligence. After the war, positive publicity promoted by Army psychologists helped to make psychology a respected field. Now, group intelligence tests were developed and widely used in schools and industries by this time, since psychology was respected. Now it's okay to bring these canned tests into schools, test our children, see how dumb they are. Wonder if the teachers ever took those tests. Goddard schools, well, in 1908, Henry Goddard of Goddard Schools, I believe, published his version of an IQ test, and it was called the Binet and Simon Test of Intelligence, of Intellectual Capacity. The Binet and Simon Test of Intellectual Capacity. He eventually extended the test to public schools in 1913, and then to immigration at Ellis Island in 1914, and to a court of law in the same year, 1914. Galton used eugenics for selective breeding for positive traits. A well-born human, that's what he called them. Goddard used eugenics to eliminate undesirable traits. He used the term feeble-minded, quote unquote, to refer to people who did not perform well on the test. Eventually, Nazis used the eugenic theory to annihilate an entire race of people, and the U.S. abandoned the practice right around the same time. Today, we have a variety of individually administered IQ tests used in the U.S. The most common is the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, or WAS. This one has been developed for there's one that's developed for adults and one that's developed for children. I remember when I was in school, we dreaded those tests. They were arbitrary, and they didn't reflect anything that we were familiar with. I didn't know anything about a salad spoon and how you properly folded a napkin at the dinner table and these crazy things, the proper place setting at a formal dinner. But if you ask me how a gear would turn, if you have one gear and it turned, gear A turned this way, which way would gear B? I'd knock them out the park. So it was really lopsided. I didn't have any social skills, so to speak, but I was mechanically inclined. Didn't make much sense. Excuse me. Anyway, eventually they stopped giving us this test and have replaced it with the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for children. That was introduced in 1939, updated and modified in 1974. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back. Somebody was at my door. So, why do you ask, is this subject important? Well, that's a good question. I wondered what our leaders, our commanders-in-chief, I wonder what the president of these old United States, what was their intelligence quotient? And did they take the test? And was it publicized? So I went online, and guess what? Yes, they've all taken the test. Willingly, voluntarily. Everybody except this last one. He self-reported. Now, I've taken the test. My IQ is 130. Me, Barack Obama, Herbert Hoover, some of those other presidents, we all right in there together. 130. Not bad. 100 is the baseline, but anyway, I thought it was pretty interesting. So, I'm going to tell you, not necessarily in any order either. I think the test, I think the presidents are put in this document, in this paper that I pulled, according to their IQ. So it's 100, 110, 120, 130, and up. That's the way it goes. All right? All right. So hold on. You're going to ride with me. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back. I'm trying to get a cold again. This northern atmosphere just doesn't agree with me. Anyway, what I was saying, that the presidents were given a cognitive test. A cognitive test only measures thinking, memory, language, judgment, and your ability to learn new things, like on your feet, quick on the draw. Yeah. Anyway, keep in mind that these are presidents, past and present. The scale says 100 is an average score, 130 is a high score, and 140 is genius. I told you mine is 130. Anyway, numbers. They're numbers. I have beat the computer though a couple of hundred times. I beat the computer when I took the these cognitive tests. So anyway, mind you that cognitive tests are used to measure intelligence, and there are 3 of the most commonly used cognitive tests. Is the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. The mini mental state exam takes 7 to 10 minutes, and the mini cog takes 3 to 5 minutes to complete. Like I said, one interesting thing was, because Hillary Clinton was running to be president, she also submitted to the test. I don't see one for Kamala. No. I just thought it pretty interesting. So let's run through this rather quickly. Ulysses S. Grant, which was our 18th president, his IQ was 120. James Monroe, our number 5 president, his IQ was 128.5. Martin Van Buren, president number 8, his IQ was 128.4. By the way, I got this information from WhiteHouseHistory.org, the president timeline. All right, we've had 45 presidents. Number 26, William Howard Taft. His IQ was measured at 129.5. Number 17, Andrew Johnson. His IQ, 129.7. Zachary Taylor, president number 12, 129.8. Looks like we were getting smarter. President number 1, which was George Washington, his IQ was 130. Harry Truman, 129.8. He was president number 32. Warren Harding, president number 28, came in at 129.8. And Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, president number 43, he came in at 130.1. Here's some more familiar ones. Gerald Ford, 130.2. He was president number 37. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 130.5. He was president number 31. Lyndon Johnson, 130.6. President number 35. Ronald Reagan, president number 39. He came in at 131.9. Herbert Hoover, president number 30, came in at 131.5. How about Tricky Dick? Richard Nixon, president number 36, he scored 132.6. Smart cookie. George H.W. Bush, president number 40, he scored a 133. Dwight D. Eisenhower, 135.1. He was president number 33. And then there's George W. Bush, who's president number 42. He scored a 137. I told you they said 140 is genius. Let me see, do we have any 140s? Millard Fillmore, president number 13, scored a cool 139. Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy, ready Teddy, president number 25, a 143. Genius. All right, Bill Clinton, 149. He was president number 41. 149. James Madison, 150. He was president number 4. Jimmy Carter, president number 38, and his score was 153. And then the man who didn't test but self-reported himself to be 156, and that is Trump. Hillary Clinton also scored in the 150s, but she actually took the test. Okay, so there you have it. Does it prove anything? I don't think so, because the man that's in the office right now said he scored a 156, 157. He sure don't act like it, all right? Anyway, I'm happy with my little 130. I think any more than that, my head would explode. If you're interested in taking the test, I'll put some instructions up in the comments. But it doesn't matter. We are who we are. We are shaped by our experiences, right? Anyway, remember, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm adding, you better ask somebody. All right, take care until we meet again.